Hello, and welcome to our presentation. Today's session is about rocket consumption insights, anticipating peak workloads and capping for Z using advanced analytics. My name is Craig, and today I will provide a monitoring use case product demo using the delivered web-based dashboards for consumption insights, focusing on the Kibana Analytics spaces. Before the demo, let's review the architecture of consumption insights and how we use RMF data to power the platform. You can see in our diagram that we're using ZOS data with the RMF server running with a component called GPM serve implemented so that we're collecting data based on the RMF interval setting. It could be 100 seconds, 300 seconds, 900 seconds, or 3600 seconds. We are interfacing directly with Rocket Consumption Insights using the RMF source connector to the GPM serve and gathering the data at each interval. We then ingest the data into an Elasticsearch repository and group and process the records so that to present them in an analytics interface using a web-based user interface to do iterative and interactive analytics from the server. So now let's get started with the demo. Here you can see that I've logged into the Kibana interface for the analytics tool for Rocket Consumption Insights. We deliver this product with a various set of analytics tools that are unique to the Kibana and Elasticsearch interface. Here we can see analytics, we can see forecasting, and monitoring. Today, we'll be demonstrating how to use the real-time monitoring to anticipate capping and avoid capping situations in your workload environment. As you can see here, we're using the monitoring environment, so I'm updating the environment for the monitoring tools. Here, as you can see, we have the various tools, so we've accessed the monitoring environment. Here I have the monitoring, and I'm looking at specifically the CPC subcapacity dashboard. On this dashboard, you can see that we are using the interval, RMF interval for 100 seconds. We have our RMF interval set for 100 seconds for gathering RMF and SMF data and pushing it. We're actually interacting with the GPM serve and pulling the data into the environment for our analytics. Here you can see that I have my R4H peak was March 16th at 4:18 p.m. My capacity peak at that time was 1602, and I'm using the 100 interval associated with my RMF. I've decided to look at data from March 18th, which is historical, but what we'll be doing is analyzing this data as if it was real time, and we'll show you the components as if the data was being monitored in real time and show you what would happen as we approach capping. I'm looking at the full day's worth of data, and I want to scroll down and show you that here in the first KPI for the dashboard, I have my R4H peak, where I've been tracking, and this is my R4H peak. This is my current consumption, and this is my R4H peak here. So you can see that I am in danger here of exceeding my peak. Looks like that actually I probably did exceed my peak. So let's look at some of the other KPIs in the dashboard and determine what we can glean from the information and see if I could have avoided my peak. Here you can see very plainly that I am approaching my peak level, where I'm approaching a period where I would move into capping. I've set my capping level at my peak because I don't want to exceed my peak. You can see that I got in danger here, and then I actually went into full capping in this time period. This is remaining MSU based on my capping policy, and then based on my consumption. Here, what we do is we demonstrate where the processing is happening. You can see that the main processing is in group 1. So this is probably the area that I would want to focus my investigation, and you'll see that plainly. Here we do the plexes, and we show very plainly the various LPARs. It looks like RS27 would be the focus of my attention for my monitoring. But in fact, we don't necessarily have to look at each individual LPAR because we are actually in real-time tracking time to capping. So you can see here for group 1 And my test group one that it looks like I've got a little bit of time before capping, but what we'll do is we'll move this in real time so that you can see closer and closer what will happen as we approach real-time processing. Here you can see the model and serial number of my machine. We can have the CPC names and you can see the processing type. So I actually see my zips and the contribution on each LPAR for my general processing and my zips. And then some really nice graphics showing my CP utilization, logical CP utilization, and my zip utilization. So they're really a nice set of KPIs associated with the analytics tools for real-time monitoring. Now what I want to do is I want to advance my time. You can see here that I'm advancing my time in 15-minute intervals. So I've preset this. Now what I want to do is really focus on a particular time period of the day. So let's say I want to start about noon here, and then I want to go to about 12:30, and I want to see, as if I was in real time, looking at increments very periodically. So you can see here in this first, I'm approaching my capping. This is my peak. I'm approaching my capping. You can see processing active. So right now I'm okay. I'll continue to process close to my peak. And then as we scroll down, we can see processing associated with we're still good. We're not in danger of entering a peak capping period. When I enter capping, of course, one of the things that I want to avoid is actually, could I plan in real-time monitoring and possibly move workload or plan for other workload changes so that I would avoid capping. Once I enter capping, I know that I'm in danger of workloads being delayed and processing being delayed, and perhaps I won't be meeting my SLAs. So I'm going to go advance this into the next time windows. So you can see slight changes here. I continue to advance. I'm getting closer and closer to exceeding my peak. I'm going to continue to advance. I'm very close to exceeding my peak. We're getting closer and closer. You can see our current MSU is getting very close to exceeding my peak. I'm going to continue to advance, and now it looks like I've begun to exceed my peak. Well, as I've approached this time period, what effect has it had on my real-time monitoring? So you can see now I'm in the orange, and I'm actually getting to the point where I'm have less and less MSU remaining before I actually enter into a capping period. If I scroll down and I look at my capping, then you can see I'm danger of my group one, my group capacity in my group one going into capping. So we're very close to entering capping time. So this would be the time that perhaps I could intervene on specific workloads and make some changes to avoid my capping period. So now we're going to continue to advance. And you can see now we've exceeded the cap. We're actually at 1611 when our peak processing for the previous peak on March 16th was 1602. Now I've exceeded my cap. Okay. And you can see here that I've squarely entered into the red here. And now I'm out of capacity based on what I've put my capping rate at. Completely out. I've overflowed and I'm using peak. I've exceeded my peak processing and now I'm very close to capping. And then we'll move into complete capping, as you will see. And this is what this would look like in real time. Now I've exceeded my peak. I continue to exceed my peak. One more time period. Let's see if I now have gone back down. I'm at my peak now. I'm in my next window. Oh. And now let's see the effect. At the bottom, so all of these LPARs are in full capping. You can see it. And I've entered capping. Now using the information that is available to me here, as I scroll down, although I've entered full capping in that group because these are in a group, you can see here that these 4 LPARs are particularly at high utilization. So these are all in the group, but could I possibly anticipate this and move some workload around to, some of these other slightly less utilized systems, and perhaps avoid a situation where that I would be in a capping situation. Okay. You can see that it's affected other things as well. My CP, my utilization for my zip processing, and my CP utilization has really gotten high. And during that time period, my zip utilization is not as efficient. Okay. And this is a demonstration of how you can use the RMF portion of Rocket Consumption Insights for real-time monitoring of in association with your RMF. We have the SMF records for consumption and things like capacity, billing subcapacity, and TFP as well, and then also reporting on the coupling facilities, so the utilization of other resources across your entire environment. Thank you for your time, and thanks for listening today.